and followed by another retreat in Canadian ashram. So Didi ji been on the go after leaving UK constantly, and she accepted the today's invitation, and on a most important subject. Raghav Bhaiya is helping in the background, and we request you to kindly keep yourself muted, keeping the video on, and Didi ji will first cover the subject, followed by she will open the floor for questions, and Raghav Bhaiya will take one by one, and kindly raise your hand as the provision within the app in the Zoom. You raise your hands and Bhaiya will take the turn by turn. Kindly unmute yourself. Thank you very much. Over to respected Didi. Welcome, Didi. Thank you.
बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। प्रथमं सद्गुरुं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णं तदनन्तरं गुरुः पापात्मनां त्राता श्रीकृष्णस्त्वमलात्मनाम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर् गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Radhe Radhe everyone. I would like to start with a little kirtan. I am the drummer also, as well as a singer, so adjusting my dholak. Let's do Roop Dhyan. भज राधे गोविंद 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 भज राधा 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 भजु राधे गोविंद 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 भजु राधे गोविंद.
Balance na vajan madhuri. Ready madhuri balance. No.
I would like to speak about something very basic today, but something which is a topic which is really important for all of us. Sometimes we overlook the basics, and as you know, if we skip over the basics, then our foundation is very weak. If our foundation is weak, then even if Sri Maharaji used to say, even if you erect a palace, it's going to topple down. So one of the basic lessons that we learn from scriptures, as interpreted and as explained by Sri Maharaji, is that we must understand the immense value of human life. This human form of life is desired by even devtas in Svargalok. Even they say, Gayanti Devaha Kila Gita Kani Dhanyastu Ye Bharat Bhumi Bhage. Even devtas wish to be born human in the sacred land of Bharat, India. But we humans, who are the most fortunate, we consider ourselves very unfortunate from time to time. Sometimes we bemoan our destiny and we say, oh, I'm so unlucky. I am so unfortunate. My miseries are too many to count. But in fact, if we pay some attention to what we even see around us, we would consider ourselves to be most fortunate. Because in this whole world, there are only little more than 8 billion humans. And on the other hand, there are so many other creatures, all children of God. There are so many insects, varieties of insects, birds, plants, trees, animals, all sorts of creatures. And once scientists found 10,000 little insects living in a rotting apple. This is beyond our imagination. 10,000 creatures living in one single apple that's rotting. And on the other hand, just 8 billion, little over 8 billion humans inhabiting planet Earth. That in itself shows us how fortunate we truly are. And then our scriptures tell us how fortunate we are. Bade bhag manush tanu pava, says the Ramayana. You are very fortunate that you have been blessed with a human form of life. Kabahu kakari karuna nar dehi, det ish binu hetu sanehi. Again, Ramayana says that God gives the greatest gift in the form of a human birth very rarely, and that too to the most fortunate individual soul. The word durlabham is used. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah. Durlabham manusham janma prathyate ridashairapi. Durlabh meaning rare. Rare is this human form of life. It is the rarest. And it is desired not only by devtas in Swargalok, it's desired by all the creatures. They wish to be born human. Now, knowing what we know about the Devtas, that they possess the beauty that we can not even imagine. They possess a body that is naturally fragrant. They possess the ability, they possess the intelligence that we can only hope for, but never really possess. They have so many privileges that we do not have. So we wonder why Devtas would want the human form of life. We can understand why lower creatures would want to be born human, because we are certainly more intelligent than them. Even the most intelligent animal really is no comparison for even the most dull-witted human. You could take the most foolish person in the world, and even this person would be more intelligent than the most intelligent animal. So these lower creatures, as we call them, they want to be born human because we can understand, because we are far more intelligent. They can only think about 4 things in life. Ahara Vidya, Ahara Nidra, Bhaya Maithun, eating, drinking, and then sleeping, fearing, and mating. These are the only 4 things that these creatures can think about. We humans can think of so much more than that. And so Bhartrihari has said, Ahara Nidra Bhayamaithunancha Samanyametat Pashubhir Narana Jnanam Hitesham Adhiko Vishesho Jnanena Hina Pashubhis Samana. He says, if a human being does not go beyond eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating, then he is in fact just an animal. He is a lower creature in the guise of disguised as a human. Humans and animals are equals in these 4 aspects: eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But the specialty of a human is that we possess far greater intelligence. And using that intelligence, we can find out about God. We can find out about our relationships with God. We can find out how to love God, how to reach God. These other creatures cannot. But Devtas have far greater intelligence. They know much more than us. So why would they want to be born human? And I suspect many of you know this answer. You've heard these lectures before. And please take this as a reminder. Devtas in Swargalok, in the celestial abode, although they are much more intelligent than we are, they're much more knowledgeable than we are, yet they do not have the right to perform fruit-yielding actions. Their actions do not bear fruit. They can do whatever they want, and they will not be punished or rewarded. As for humans, Prashnopanishad says, Punyena punyalokam nayati, papena papam, ubhabhyameva manusyalokam. Depending on the actions you are performing, you will be given the results. You will have consequences. Your actions will bear consequences. So Devtas wish to be born human. They're all right with getting a body which is not naturally fragrant. Humans use so many things to mask the body odor. And we need to take regular showers or baths, but Devtas do not. But they don't care. We do not care about this. We don't care what kind of body you give us, that our body is not as beautiful. It's not naturally fragrant. But what does that matter? How does that matter? We want to attain you, my Lord. Humans, by being human, is the only way that I can attain you. So Indra, Varun, Kuber, Yamraj, all of these Devtas and more, they wish to be born human. And there are so many humans who worship Devtas. They perform yajnas or havans for Devtas. They give oblations, they offer oblations to the Devtas, wishing to please them. And you know the story about Bhagwan Shri Krishna. When Shri Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, it is because of Indra Indra, the king of all the celestial devtas, he was offended because Sri Krishna told, first of all, Nanda Baba and then others, that they should not be worshipping Indra. And they were convinced. Little by little, he convinced them. Sri Krishna said to them, Baba, why do we worship Indra? And Nanda Baba said, because he gives us rain. And when there's enough rain, there's enough crops, and we have enough to eat. So we are thankful. We are thankful to Indra. But Sri Krishna says, but that is his job. That is his duty. God has given him his duty. We should worship only God. And his ideas were, everyone, including Nanda Baba, scoffed at this idea. And they said, that's ridiculous. But little by little, Sri Krishna convinced them all. And so Indra worship was stopped. And Indra became very angry. So this shows that devtas get angry. Indra became very offended, and he created a rainfall for 7 days and 7 nights, a torrential rainstorm. And Sri Krishna protected everyone by lifting the Govardhan hill. And so this Govardhan Leela that we hear about, and that we even depict by doing Leelas, by doing skits and so on, and we celebrate with so much enthusiasm, it was done because Sri Krishna wanted to teach Ananyata, worship only God and not devtas, because devtas are under the control of Maya, just as humans are. So devtas do not have the right to perform fruit-yielding actions, and that is why they wish to be born human. And the lower creatures, they want to attain the human form of life for 2 reasons. One is that they want the knowledge that we have. They want access to much greater knowledge. And secondly, because they wish to perform actions that will bear fruit. All right, now I understand this. I understand how important the human form of life is. I do. I've heard this in lectures again and again. Once again, importance of human life. Enough. We think this because we've heard it again and again. And yet, if we had truly understood the importance of what God has given to us, if we had ever in any previous lifetime as a human, if we had ever understood this concept, we would have attained God by now. So it means we haven't understood it. We haven't accepted the importance of human life. We know it intellectually, but we don't accept it. We don't accept how great this human birth is. All right, but one may say, no, I do understand it. I accept that it's the most important form of life, the rarest form of life, and the most desirable form of life. So then what are you doing about it? And then we say, well, I'm waiting. Waiting for what? I'm waiting until I'm older. I know the aim of life is to reach God, and I know that I have of life, and this is the only opportunity I get. It's only in this form of life that I can reach God. But I am waiting until I'm a little bit older. I'm too young to practice devotion. Or I'm waiting until I graduate. Then I'm waiting until I get a job. Then I'm waiting until I get married. Then I'm waiting till I settle down and get a good job and settle down, buy a house. All right, then I'm waiting till I have children. And we go on our deathbed and we're still saying, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. So it means that alongside with understanding how the immense value of human life, we must always also pay attention to how temporary this life is, how fleeting this life is. It's like a delicate thread. It's like a thin thread that can snap any moment. We make our plans. In the next 5 years, I'll do this. And then 10 years, I'll do that. In 15 years, I'll be at this position. But Yamraj stands on our head saying, go ahead, beta, make your plans. And but these plans you will not realize these plans. You're waiting too much. You don't have that much life left. So alongside with understanding the immense value of human life, we have to also understand that death awaits. We have to think about our mortality. We are certainly not immortal. Of course, we know that. But do we? Do we accept that? In our heart of hearts, what do we really think? Oh, he will die, she will die, they will all die, but not I. I am here to stay. I'm here on earth, and I will always be here. So understanding and realizing and accepting our mortality is very, very important also. Pani kera budbuda asmanas ki jaat, dekhat hi chip jayenge jo tara prabhat. It has been said that our life is like a bubble that arises in water one moment, only to burst the next moment. And our life is like that of the stars that appear at night, and in a few hours they disappear. We can't see them, they disappear. Our life is just like that. It's very temporary. Anyone who has lost their loved one, and especially very recently, will accept that more readily than someone who has not. Anyone who has been ravaged by disease, a serious disease, will say, yes, now I realize this. That I've got one foot in the grave. And we say about those people, he's got one foot in the grave. But the fact is, we've all got one foot in the grave. We can leave this world. We'll be forced to leave this world any moment. And therefore, procrastination is very undesirable. Procrastination has kept us here in this life, coming back to this world again and again. And even now, our mind tells us, yes, but I'll do it just now. Someone who keeps saying, I'll do it just now, is not serious. There was a woman, and she said to her husband, my brother, I'm very worried about my brother. And her husband asked, what worries you about him? What is going on with him? Well, he keeps saying that I'm going to take sannyas. Oh, he said it yesterday. He said it last week. He said it last month. But how long has he been saying this for? He's been saying it for 2 years now. He's going to take sannyas. Her husband said, you don't worry about it. He's not going to take sannyas. Oh, how do you know? That's not the way to take sannyas. He has not taken any decision. I see. I guess you know. He said, yes, I do. And he left right then and there. He took sannyas. Because there were feelings of renunciation were so strong within him, and he took an immediate decision. So someone who keeps saying, I will do this, I will practice devotion, you'll watch me, I'll become the best devotee ever. You'll see. Is not serious. That person is not serious. That means that person is all of us. We're not serious as long as we're thinking just now, any moment now, watch out, any moment now, you'll see me. You'll see how great a devotee I become. मेरे को जरा देखना, मैं कहाँ तक पहुँचता हूँ. That's not seriousness. Serious ones start right away. So procrastination it goes totally against the principles of devotional practice. We don't have any time left. We may not have the next moment. We don't know when Yamraj will send his messenger saying, bring this one, time is over. And then we cannot say, oh, wait, I forgot to do devotion. Sri Maharaji tells us this sher. सेठ जी को फिक्र थी, सेठ जी को फिक्र थी, एक एक को 10-10 कीजिए, मौत आ पहुंची कि हजरत जान वापस दीजिए. A rich man was thinking, how do I turn 1 pound into 10, $1 into 10? How do I do that? He was very concerned about it, and he was planning on doing that. And all of a sudden, death comes and says, let's go, mister. Now, he cannot say, well, wait. Let me just write a will. Nothing, no more time. So there's a great deal of urgency. When we are given the human form of life, we're given a huge, huge responsibility. We are being tested. God is our examiner and God is testing us. Look, I'm going to look at what you're doing. Are you going to pass this exam, or are you going to fail it miserably, or are you going to just take it very easy? So it's all up to us now. Because God and Guru have given us all their graces, everything. Adi Shankaracharya says there are very few graces there are 3 graces, in fact, that are the greatest graces of all. God cannot give you a 4th grace. And these are Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurush. Human form of life, a desire for God, and a Guru. And other than that, God cannot give you anything more. These 3 are attained only through God's grace. And there's no 4th grace to be had. Shivaraji used to say, if there is a 4th grace, it is only this, that that's a grace you have to bestow upon yourself. And that you do by accepting that, yes, I have been graced in every possible way. When Dasharath Ji Maharaj, the great king, Bhagwan Ram's father, he saw some gray hair. He was looking at his face in the mirror. He saw some gray hair, and they indicated to him an approaching old age. And he immediately made plans to renounce the kingdom, to give it over to his eldest born Ram, and to retire to the jungles to practice full-time devotion. श्रवण समीप भये सित केसा, श्रवण समीप भये सित केसा, मनहु जरठपन अस उपदेसा, नृप जुब राज राम कहु देहु, जीवन जन्म लाहु किन लेहु. Unfortunately, his plan did not work out, but he had every intention to do it. He had every intention. He had so much in the way of the world. He was a king. He had such great amount of wealth, so much gold, gems, jewels, such great treasures. And he was so powerful, he was so strong that he could fight with hundreds of soldiers by himself. He could claim half of Indra's throne whenever he wanted. And yet he thought, no, life is soon coming to an end. Old age is soon approaching, so I must retire now and give over my duties, kingly duties, to my eldest born. That is what recognizing the immense importance of human form of life looks like when we consider the example of King Janak. And we are so fortunate, and that's a weak word, so I smile to myself. Fortunate, blessed, even blessed is a very weak word for what we have received in the form of our Guru. So Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has given us the philosophy of the scriptures, and Shri Maharaji has taught us so much about procrastination. Through his personal example, Maharaj used to, he taught us how not to procrastinate. Maharaji was very punctual. Maharaji he was never dilly-dally about anything. He would do everything right away. Shri Maharaji has famously said to us many times, he said, first attain God realization, then you can do other things. So first take advantage of the human form of life, and then you can do other things. That is the instruction, or if you will, the advice of Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. That we must understand the significance of the greatest gift that has been given to us, but we must also understand, equally important it is to understand that this gift may be snatched away at any moment. So this is really the very first lecture that Maharaji's Pracharaks give in that most wonderful sequence that Sri Maharaji has established. But this is the very first thing we need to understand. So I thought I'll start I would talk about this today. And it's one of my favorite topics because it's something that we need to remind ourselves of again and again. So let me not wait any longer. I would love to hear from you, all of you. And let's start the question and answer session, if you will.
Radhe Radhe Didi.
Radhe.
Rajshri. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Rajshri.
Didi, I think, I mean, you're right. We listen to all the lectures where, we are constantly told that life is too short, and we need to do what we can within this opportunity that we've got, this blessing that we've got. But I mean, what are those practical steps to take in order to, keep reminding ourselves, I know, I mean, also through lectures, we've heard that, yes, every now and then, consider Bhagwan Shri Krishna to be next to you. But what are those other things that we can do, Because I think, and that happens to me so many times, I go through the day, I'm back to back in meetings, and suddenly after like a couple of hours, I'm like, oh my God, it's been such a long time. And you almost feel that vacancy, some vacuum inside yourself. So how do you try to not get into that, vacuum like position where, you feel very helpless and like a total failure in this direction?
Right. So, Rajashri, the very first thing to do is to increase our desire for all this. Because as soon as our desire gets to be as soon as our desire is intensified, then we definitely find the time to do it. So I would say that we need to work on our desire first. Everything springs forth from that desire. To first think about it, that this is in our quiet moments, in your quiet moments, think, this is so important, I need to do this. And to create that time in which to think about all this, that I know I get busy, that's a given. Life is especially when you're married, you have children, you have, even if you don't have children, you have so many duties to perform, just to earn money and to make all the payments and so on and so forth. There's so many responsibilities, but so it's a given that life is very busy, no doubt. But this is the most important thing I'll do in life. Once we understand that, once we really believe that, then time just becomes more available, and then the desire to do something about it. When the desire to do something about it is strong, then we actually take the steps. So I would say very first thing we need to do is to really work on understanding the need to do this. This is the most important thing. Because after that, everything falls into place. Everything falls into place. And I don't say that you don't have it, but again, you want to intensify it. You want to make it stronger, and then find ways to find ways to remind yourself that I know I'm going to get busy in the beginning of the day. I know I'm going to get busy. So I know yesterday I was busy, the day before that I was busy, and I'm going to be busy today. So what am I going to do now to make sure that I remember? So some associations, I always say, associating an object which is in front of you, computer, let's say, with Sri Krishna, with God and Guru, associating whatever the nature of your work is throughout day, and whatever you that help me. So make those associations. And
Radhe Radhe Didi, can't hear you.
okay, I just lost the connection for a second. Yes. So, like as I was saying, make associations, connect certain objects that you have in front of you throughout the day, certain people you have throughout the day, connect that with godliness, with God, Guru, some connections. Extremely important. And very first thing to do is to intensify the desire for devotion and intensify that longing and that sense of urgency. And what I was saying, I don't know, you might have not have heard me, that read the obituaries. And you find that people of all ages are dying. And then to tell the mind, what makes me think that I'm immortal? Mind has to be jolted into acceptance that life is short. I mean, we hope that we have a long, long life. But what if we don't? We cannot take this gamble. We cannot gamble with this. This is too important.
Thank you, Didi.
राधे राधे दीदी जी, मैं राज बोल रही हूँ।
राधे राधे।
राधे राधे दीदी। दीदी ये अपना भुक्ति और मुक्ति में डिफरेंस क्या, अंतर क्या है दोनों में, और विच इज मोर, जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं ना भुक्ति मुक्ति नहीं मांगू, तो
ये क्या है?
एक्सप्लेन दैट फॉर मी प्लीज दीदी।
श्योर। हिंदी में बोलो, इंग्लिश में? थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलो।
एनीथिंग दीदी, मुझे नहीं कोई फर्क पड़ता।
तो भुक्ति और मुक्ति, भुक्ति का मतलब होता है माया के सुख। संसार में जितने सुख हैं, यहाँ से लेकर के 7वें स्वर्ग तक जो सुख है, 7 लेवल्स है ना स्वर्ग के, तो वहां तक जो सबसे ऊंचा स्वर्ग लोक है वो है ब्रह्मलोक। तो यहाँ से लेके वहां तक के सुखों का नाम है भुक्ति। सो भुक्ति मीन्स प्लेजर्स ऑफ माया, एंड those are the pleasures found in this world, and they go right up to the pleasures found in the 7th level of Swargalok, which is Brahmalok, the abode of Brahma the creator. Brahma is divine, but his abode is not. So it's the 7th highest level of Swargalok. So going from here on this earth right up to the 7th level of Swargalok, all the pleasures found from here to there are called, collectively known as bhukti. And mukti means liberation. Yes. So what we say is, we don't want bhukti or mukti, because what we want is not liberation even, but we want divine love.
Oh, that's very well explained. Thank you, Didi. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe Didi.
Radhe Radhe.
Didi, I have a practical question. I have a practical difficulty. When I came from Sri Vrindavan Dham, I decided that I'm going to just keep to myself, and Maharaj's philosophy will be my friends. And I'm going to a new place. I don't want to be making friends. I don't want to be socializing. Then we wanted to have the program. So I started attending the Shakha, the Hindu Swayamsevak thing that I used to do in Newcastle for years, to get some people to join. And now people know me, they want me back, and they invite me for Kirtan at their house, they invite me for the Shakha programs. And now I feel stuck. because I feel like I want people to connect into the thing that we want to do. But then I don't want to socialize because I don't feel strong to stay focused and not get distracted. How do I set boundaries for myself?
It's a double-edged sword. You want to be with people, you want to invite them to your satsang, or to something new that you're starting, teaching children. Is that what you're talking about? Or or just to your satsang, and then sorry, go ahead.
The Gurukul.
That's what I thought. And then they want to, and of course they want to invite you to theirs as well. It's not an easy thing to do, to be with them and them not expecting that. It seems to them it should be a two-way street. You go to their satsang, they'll come to yours, that sort of thing. But I think it's very very important to let others know very kindly that you have a path that you're walking on, and that you have gained a lot from being in the group, but you have a guru, and that you are following this path. Now they may drop out after that, but may not. Some may not. But it's very important, because otherwise you will be stuck. They will be asking you again, and they will not understand why you don't go to them. And you don't want to be going. There's nothing against that satsang or that group, but you got to start with them, from what I understand. But it is important to let them know when it is important to let them know. Do let them know that you have how long will you keep on making excuses and say, no, I have this, I have to do this, I have to do that. They will not understand why you're not coming to them. So it's important to say it very kindly, that you have your obligations, and then you have found a path, and you are very busy walking on that path. I don't see any other way out of it. There's only so many excuses you can make and say, I have to go wash my hair today, or whatever excuse you make. But eventually you'll run out of them. It's important to let them know.
This was very, very, very useful, Lady, and very clear as well.
I think clarity is very important.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, I was in a devotee's house, and the phone would ring, and she would say, oh no, they're calling again. And I asked her, who are they? They're from another satsang, but I don't go there anymore, and I don't know what to tell them. I'm embarrassed. So I took the phone call, and I told them very kindly, I think, as much as I could, that it's so nice of you to call, but this particular person, she has found her way, and she goes to another satsang, and it's so good for me to hear that you are taking so much of your time doing this wonderful seva, but you could be calling somebody else, because she has found her path, and she's very grateful for what she has learned from you, from your group, from your organization. So it was a clear cut. There's nothing. So they can't misunderstand that.
Thank you, Devi.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Anju bhaiya?
Radha Didi, it's a follow-up question. So I have heard it before. You mentioned there are 7 layers of Swarglok, and higher one being the Brahmalok.
Yes.
I think Brahmalok is Brahma's abode, Lord Brahma's abode, right?
Yes.
So is Lord Brahma under Maya, or he's...
No, he's not. But his abode is. He's not under Maya, but his abode is. His kingdom is.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Radhya.
In relation to Chitra Didi ji's question,
Yes.
if in the Karam Yoga Didi, while she might be going to the others, but deeply attached with Maharaji internally, with this objectives that she has to do Maharaji's prachar through Gurukul, will that protect her?
You see, I think if Chitra, if Chitra feels uncomfortable there, and if it has to be an ongoing thing that she has to go there, it depends. It's not. I don't think in a situation like that it could be once or twice. It might be over and over again. So I don't know Chitra's situation.
You're right.
But sometimes when it starts bothering you and say, the more, I think the more you go, the more they start expecting from you too. And it could be next time, I don't know how it is, you want to have a satsang at home then, it could be like that too. That, would you like to help us more in this? So I don't know exact nature of this involvement, but Chitra will have to, find out. I've seen in other circumstances throughout the years that this dilemma is there, that I want to have other people come in, but they also want me to go to where they are. So it's always going to be there because it's a give and take.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Didi, I'm coming in again. Actually, over the years, I have realized that in hope that people will join, you end up spending way more time and energy in a place where you don't feel yourself, where you feel your time is wasted and it's not rewarded, appropriately. And then at the end, you feel like, have I wasted time? What should I have instead just focused on my devotion and not got involved into other activities to an extent that partly you start getting attached to them, and then your sadhana is disturbed and other things start to play on your mind,
Right.
and things like that. So particularly because this is very repetitive, I feel like the advice you gave sounds like the perfect one for me, because being clear in my head and being open to others, but very politely, seems like then I am conveying my message to them, telling them what I am expecting from them, but at the same time I'm making it clear that I have my own commitments.
Which you do, it's a truth. So best communicating. Good. Ken Bhaiya, your hand is up.
No, 1 second. Radhe Didi.
Radhe.
Yeah. I suppose my question was going to be a little bit about sort of what the balance is between learning philosophy, learning the knowledge, and spending a lot of time, really understanding it deeply. Sort of satsang, and actually attending satsang and being part of the congregation and so on, and seva. Is there a right balance, or you've just got to work it out for yourself, really, how you balance all those things?
So, Ken Bhaiya, did you say balance between understanding the philosophy and then also to do satsang? And then did you say seva also? I didn't understand.
I did those three, yeah, correct. Right. Yeah.
All three are very important, because let's say if you're only listening to or reading the philosophy and then satsang is not there, then it's just you're limiting yourself to just the theory and no practice. And so satsang is very important from that point of view, that you are doing the practical. That's the practical aspect. And seva, definitely, Maharaji says that seva is the highest concept of all. So these three in an equal measure would be, that would mean that you are balancing all these three. Yes, definitely. Some people like to hear lectures a lot, but they don't like kirtans and bhajans that much. Some people like kirtans and bhajans, they don't like to hear the lectures much. But both are very, very important. I remember a gentleman, and he heard my lectures many years ago, and after the lectures had finished, that would be the end of that. That's the end. I said, no, this is the beginning. You must come to satsang. And he said, my wife will come. I said, I know, but you should come. And I tell you, when Maharaji, sometimes I go out of my nature. My nature is not to press anyone to do anything. But few times I've noticed Maharaji just inspires me, God and Guru, just to become a little bit forceful. So I said, no, you should come. He said, my wife will come. I said, I know, good, she'll come, but you should come. And so he came, I think, just to get me off his back. She's insisting so much.
Thank you, David.
Okay, we have this one chance. He was part of the satsang, and he started crying. Tears would not stop.
दीदी आपका कनेक्शन चला गया दीदी, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
I'm sorry, again, I disappeared. I come back. So many years later, he and his wife, they actually moved to Mangar, and in fact, lived there for a long time. And anyway, and until he died, actually. So, but his beginning was like that. Like, no, not satsang. And I think he used to think that's a women thing, ladies things. But anyway, so satsang is equally important. And in fact, after listening to the philosophy, satsang is the next natural thing, and then seva definitely is the most important, according to our Guruji.
Thank you, David.
Radhe Radhe. There's Meenuji, and then there's Dineshji. Dinesh, let's take. I remember Dinesh going to your house. Dinesh, Radhe Radhe.
Sorry, I joined late, but it's so nice to see you after a long time.
Good to see you. Good to see you join this group. Nice. Good.
And hopefully next time I'll be able to join on time, and then of course be with you guys for a whole hour.
Sure,
It's so nice to see
you. Good. Meenu, आप कुछ कह रही थी?
Radhe Radhe Guru Pranam.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Just wanted to ask, seva is important. Tan, man, and dhan.
Yes.
What happens if there's differences within yourself or your family as to how much dhan, man you can decide yourself, how much dhan seva you can do. Because we should be giving at least 10%, at least, but we don't. And people have different ideas, and that always bothers me. So I just wanted to know your view on that.
Right. And, 10%, just to clarify, yes, all the scriptures say 10%, because the Vedas say 10% giving. But Maharaji used to say 10% is a spiritual income tax. That's not even seva. And seva starts from after 10%. Let's say it's 11%. Then we've given 1% seva, and 10% was going to go to God anyway. He will take it away. It's just that it always makes me think of Maharaji when he said that 10% to Bhagwan ka tax hai. And so, yes, it's so important because seva, we say in Hindi, seva se meva milti hai. Seva, a devotional service, pleases God and Gurudev so much because we are giving something of ourselves, something that we love, we are giving it away. And that creates feelings of dispassion, detachment from the world. Not total detachment, but some amount of detachment. And so it is essential that we give. But your question is, what do we do when there's disagreement? That right? That I think it depends on the individual. It depends. The answer would vary from individual to individual. That what kind of, let's say there are two people in the family. Let's say husband and wife, and one says I want, the other says I don't want to give. So now, is there a level of maturity that both can say, okay, I feel this way, you feel that way. I respect what you're doing, but you have to respect. We both respect what each one of us is doing, and then you can, it's always individual anyway, individual charity. So the situation, if the situation means, it depends on how grave the situation is, if there is that agreement between two parties, because the thing is, not everyone is such an individual, and not everyone thinks alike, of course. No two people think alike. So everybody will have their difference of opinion, but every person has a right to do as much seva as they want to do. In fact, to do seva is our birthright. And sometimes we could anger someone by doing the amount of seva we want to do. But I would say that that is still okay, because at the end of the day, we have to give an answer to God and Guru. So whenever there is definitely when there are two individuals, and I'm not to speak of 3, 4, 5, 6, and more, even when there are two, there's going to be a clash of opinion, clash of understanding. What is the right thing to do? So I think one must stand one's ground. Again, as humbly and as politely and as kindly as one can.
Thank you, Devi. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
On that note, may I just add that I'll just tell you about it. It's not totally related, but it is somewhat related. There was a young woman, and she asked me, I want to go to satsang so badly. I said, you should come. And she said, my husband doesn't agree with it. I said, are you asking him for permission? And she said, well, he doesn't like it if I come. I said, will you? And I genuinely asked, is this what kind of relationship is this? Is it a servant-master relationship? And she said, no. And then I asked her, well, when he goes out drinking with his buddies, you don't like it, do you? She said, no. Does he go? Does he ask for permission? She said, no. I said, well, then you are doing the most correct thing possible by coming to satsang. So you do not need permission to do something which is so good, which is the best thing you can do. And she thought about it and she agreed. She said, but what is a fear in coming to satsang? I asked. And she said, she thought about it. She said, I'm afraid that he won't love me if I go to satsang. And I asked her, does he love you? Are you sure? She said, well, actually, he insults me in front of others. And I said, well, that is what you're trying to, that is a big thing for you. That's love. You're in this marriage, that's good. You respect him. He should also respect you. Inversely, there was a gentleman, and he said, my wife hates it when I come to the mandir. And, she'll say, kahan ja rahe ho avara gardi karne? Obviously, she doesn't agree with him, but he loved coming to the temple. So he would come to the temple and she would be saying, no, you should stay home. So two people are there, whether they're spouses or whether two loved ones, whatever they are mother and child, or father and child, or whoever they are, they will have a difference of opinion. But a good relationship is, it's a good relationship if both of them can say, okay, well, I feel this way, you feel that way, I'm going in this direction, you're going in that direction. Well, let's do our respective thing, and let's have our difference of opinion, but respect each other.
Anybody else would like to?
Radhe Radhe Didi.
Radhe Radhe, who is this?
This is Didi
Vrinda.
Vrinda.
Oh, Vrinda, my good friend Vrinda. How are you?
Good.
You're looking very cute.
Good night.
Where's your mom?
Yes, it's nighttime for you, my dear. Yes, good night.
Where's
Sleep
your mom?
tight.
Uh-huh.
Is your mom there?
Uh-huh.
राधे राधे दीदी, प्रणाम
राधे
दीदी।
राधे भावना, राधे राधे।
कैसे हैं दीदी?
हम ठीक हैं, बिल्कुल। She wanted to say good night.
Yes, actually she was waiting so long time. I want to say Radhe Radhe to Didi and say
Oh. That's sweet. Good night. Good night, Vrinda. Sleep tight. Don't let bed bugs bite. Okay?
thank you Didi.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe Didi ji.
Radhe Radhe Madhuri ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Good night to you too.
Good night to me too, yes. Yes, I'm just going to get on to Gigi's. I hope their Zoom is on today.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, yes. They just went away.
Yesterday there wasn't one, so they went to Barsana. So
yes, that's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, you take care. Shri Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you for giving us time today. And we hope to get it more regular, Didi. We'll request a few Thursdays, Didi.
I will do my best. Yes, I am more than willing. And I also would like to say, if there's some topics that I chose this topic because I didn't know how many newcomers would be here. So I chose a topic that I did today. And so if there's any topics that you would like to suggest, please do.
We'll request, Didi. We will request. Thank you. Thank you, Didi. Thank you, everybody. And